We're recording. Excellent.
We are.
I don't know what we're talking about today.
What? You were supposed to plan.
Oh, uh-oh.
No, I got lots of bones to pick with lots of people.
Okay.
This is going to be a particularly good one.
Okay.
Also, especially because I feel like I haven't been that great on the last two.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like you've been leading them, though.
I have been, but I've been doing a terrible job. Yeah, and I've gotten into a bad habit of saying like before I say a lot of things, and I got to cut that out. I'm starting to sound like a 2005 California Valley girl.
Right. I mean, it's a funny way of thinking about you.
Yeah, well, it's what I am deep down.
Man, I've had a cough for about 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Black Death.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, is it getting any better? I don't know. Do you want me to do the thing where, do you want me to do old carts on you?
What? Old cards?
Old carts.
I don't know what that is.
Onset, location, duration, character, radiation.
What?
Accessory.
I have no idea what you're talking
It's
about.
it's an acronym. It's how you're supposed to ask history about diseases.
It's like a doctor thing.
Not that I would know.
Right. Dr. X doesn't know anything about doctor stuff. Not that kind of doctor.
Onset.
Right.
When did it start? 3 weeks
About
ago.
3 weeks ago.
Location.
Where's your clipboard?
We don't use those
Also,
anymore.
I didn't tell 3 or 4 other people this exact same information before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's how you know it's not true.
Right. Yeah, I know. Actually, I had a funny experience when in the hospital when we were having. Oh, we should bleep that out.
Okay, I can. Yes.
Yeah. When we were having child number 1. Sorry, I'm giving you editing work. That's annoying.
It's
When we were
okay.
having child number 1. At any time, the nurse would come into the room and ask my wife, "Oh, quick, can you tell me your name and date of birth?" And in this really conversational way. And after 30 or 40 times, I asked, "Why do you keep asking that question?" And every time they would answer, "Oh, I'm just making conversation." It's like,
Really?
Why are you not supposed to tell us? That's clearly not why you're asking that question.
Wait, they were asking you what her name and date
They
of birth
were asking
were?
her what her name and date of birth was.
What? Or,
Yeah.
damn it. They were asking your wife what the child's name and date of birth were.
Yeah, Mrs. Antushka.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. What her name and date of birth was. But they would do it every time they came in the room. They'd give her whatever meds they were giving her, scan her thing, and it was obviously some policy that they're supposed to ask the question. Maybe making sure that she has her wits about her or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's what it sounds like they're doing.
It's some policy like that. But the answer when I asked them why they were asking that question was, "Oh, just making conversation."
That's funny. Yeah. Well,
Which is like, so then it strikes me that there's a secondary policy that's like you're not supposed to let on why.
No, there's not. But yeah.
They're just being weird.
It's competency, I would say.
It's
making sure, they have
obviously
capacity.
Why didn't they want to tell me that?
I don't know. That's weird.
That's goofy.
Although it sounds like the hospital you went to was already weird. I mean, you told me some other stuff. And then they tried to get you to pay a bunch for a blood pressure check, right?
Different hospital. That was a different hospital.
Oh, did you get that figured out?
It's the same hospital network, but
this is good. This is good radio too, by the way.
Yeah. No, it's been sent to collections. Oh, it's a whole thing. And the collections is like, well, you can't dispute it with us. You have to pay us or get the hospital to deal with it. The hospital's like, well, it's been sent to collections, so the period is over. insurance is like, well, we don't know anything about this. They billed it to us as an emergency room visit. So as far as we're concerned, you went to the emergency room, which we didn't. There was no emergency room visit. It was just billed that way.
And so now, you guys owe thousands of dollars basically for a blood pressure check.
Yeah. I would definitely not paying it, but.
Yeah. Well, what are they going to do?
Nothing. I mean, they'll just harass us about it.
But you're used to being harassed.
Yeah, right, exactly. Lower our credit score.
Little do they know. Right. You've been in the on the gridiron with the Redditors.
Oh my God. I was rereading. I don't know why. This last week I reread some of those old arguments.
It's exhausting.
So annoying.
Isn't it? Yeah. I was getting into some beefs. There's this thing called hyperemesis syndrome, like having to do with marijuana, basically. And for whatever reason, some people will like just develop a syndrome where they just can't stop throwing up, basically. Well, and you just have to be careful with the weed people. They're very touchy. And look, the thing is, it's like I'm not even I'm pro weed. No,
I know what you mean by them being touchy.
Yeah, but there are people who, if you say anything wrong or possibly bad about weed, they're all over you. And so there was this whole debate about whether it was a thing, and so of course I get into it. And then this person's just calling me everything under the sun. And then, but I was just messing with them back, and asked them what their favorite color was and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it's like people were like, I've been smoking weed for 30 years and I've never, met anybody like this, and it's like, well,
I'm looking now. They do call you some pretty colorful things.
Oh, you're looking on mine?
Yeah. Well, you said it. I was bringing it up. This is fun.
Yeah. It is fun. Yeah.
It's funny when people tell you to do things online.
Right.
It's like they have no power to stop.
I know, yeah.
Just block you. If that's how they feel,
they're like,
block you.
Get out of my, get out of my mentions. And I'm like, oh, but I've actually been enjoying this.
Yeah, right.
What's your favorite color?
Are you not also having fun?
Yeah, this is a blast. We're really getting somewhere here. I don't know. I shouldn't partake in this stuff, but there's a part of me that feels like it's good for me too. Because I hate it so much. Does that make any sense? I'm like, I need to do this.
I think like that all the time.
Yeah, because it's so stressful.
Yeah. I used to post to this Reddit or subreddit called Roast My Track, where you'd post music that you'd made, and then people are like really mean to you about it.
Nice.
It was the same kind of thing. I would do it because of how much it sucked.
That's funny. Do they still do that? Is that still a thing?
I'm sure it is. I haven't looked at it in a long time.
Wow. I should do that.
Nice.
Yeah, well, so yeah, I've been reading some stuff.
Nice.
Heilbrunn.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a guy, he's a physiologist from the 20th century. So he wrote this book in the 30s. Oh, God. What? Oh, I have it right here. Hey. An outline of general physiology. Heilbrunn.
Have we talked about this?
Maybe. This is having to do with my calcium stuff. I don't know if I've talked about it.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah. Those of you who know me know that I like calcium, right? And, and I really like calcium. And
like a lot.
Yeah, some call it an unnatural love. Anyway, I have this whole thing about calcium, and it's a precipitator and blah, blah, blah. Biology talks about it as a signal, which doesn't really make sense. So I've been, going down this, I've been writing this paper, and then I was just researching. I was like, is there any precedent to this? And of course there is. Everything's been done. And the people like 100 years ago were thinking about calcium exactly the same way as me. So it's the idea that, and they called it like a clotting mechanism. They thought about, okay, so the idea basically is calcium precipitates things. You have calcium everywhere. If you take a biology class, you're going to talk about calcium because it's like it's talked about as a signal, but all that means is that we know that the calcium concentration of cells changes based off of a lot of different things that happen. Like if a cell moves, there's going to be a calcium flux. If a neuron fires, there's going to be calcium flux. It's like calcium is involved everywhere. If a muscle contracts, there's going to be calcium flux. It's everywhere. And this is why I've always been fascinated with it. I remember the first psychology class I took, they talked about calcium as like important for neurotransmitter signaling. I was like, what the heck? Why is this ion everywhere, man? And anyway, so all of this is just to be said that they were thinking about it in a similar fashion, where kind of noticing that calcium has this precipitation ability. And it's like you add it to a solution and it's going to start aggregating. And this aggregate is very stable. And the most stable being calcium phosphate, which is bone. And you have phosphorus all over a cell also, because if you take any biology classes, you learn about adenosine triphosphate, ATP. Everything's phosphorylated. So you have a bunch of phosphorus, you have a bunch of calcium. It stands to reason that you can get precipitation in a cell. And so anyway, so I've been reading this guy's book because it's basically it's very interesting. It's sort of a glimpse into what biology, like a biologist would have gotten in a college biology class 100 years ago, before sort of like the DNA revolution, the sequencing revolution, molecular biology, everything like that. It's like just before that. And there's a few things that struck me. One is that a lot of it still stands. Like they were talking about it with different vocabulary, but the fundamental things they were talking about is still how we talk about things. And then the other thing is, it's just I feel like the reason why I wanted to read this is I do feel like we've overcomplicated everything so much now with sequencing, and we have all these pathways in biology and chemistry or biochemistry, and and then we have all these names for all these different molecules that ultimately have a lot more in common, though, like GABA and glutamate, but then you just learn that GABA is just decarboxylated glutamate, which means it's just a CO2 difference. Okay. So I don't know. I don't really know what you're going to say to this. More of it's for me to just get this all out, because this is basically what I've been sort of slamming my head against the wall about for the last probably year and a half. Is that I've been trying to just find a more simplified way of thinking about cell biology. Why is it so difficult? And so the way I'm trying to start thinking about it, and I think I might have talked about this previously, is that life mediates between excessive calcium and excessive hydrogen concentration, and then all the other sort of atoms are just buffers. It's like a carbon buffer. It's like, But anyway. All right, so.
Well, let me say, you're talking to the right person.
Thank you.
I have a lot of thoughts.
I'm sure you do.
But
you got to keep them.
I'm not going to say them right now.
Yeah, I know. You got to keep them to yourself.
But so have you talked in depth about this idea with people who would be able to comment on it?
It's funny. I've talked with people I thought would be able to, and everybody says I'm not the right person to talk to about this.
Interesting.
Literally everybody.
Because they don't know about it, or because they don't agree and don't want to get into it?
Some of it is that they don't agree.
Right.
But it's like I hit on enough disparate things that there's very few that I would say would be you could call an expert in.
See, I wish that more people would make really like extreme polemical music theory statements to me, because I would love to argue music theory with people, but almost never can.
Yeah, I mean, I could start doing that.
Yeah, that'd be great. But anyway.
No, I mean,
I just like, I can't, I have no way of knowing if it, like, I just accept what you're saying.
No,
I go,
I
okay.
mean, yeah, well, yeah, so there's been, yes, I've talked to many people about this, two of which I would say are, I've talked to my boss, right? And then, but then he'll say, yeah, he's not really an expert on this.
Right.
My old boss. And then two colleagues or, people that I know of who do calcium research, right? But it's a specific type of, this is the problem. Because the point that I'm making essentially is that calcium is or the heretical point that I'm making is that calcium is much higher, there's a much higher concentration of calcium in a cell, and it's having and it's playing a structural role. Those are sort of the two.
So you need somebody
heretical
sit down
things.
with like 3 beers and just go through it and be like, follow me on this, and then stop me when you jump off the train. You need somebody who will devote that amount of time to a conversation.
I mean, this is the thing, is I've already had these conversations.
Right.
And then it ends up being like, I'm not exactly the right person to talk to about this. Or, it's like, well,
that's not a fun answer at all.
Well, or it's like, maybe, but like, you haven't convinced me yet.
I guess I'm curious, what is the pushback? Because
the pushback is basically that there's only the big pushback for when I say that there's like a structural scaffold of calcium. That's is that there's not enough calcium.
Right, and you're saying there's more than they think.
Yes, and the reason is because it binds things, and it binds things well. So the way that you sort of detect calcium is you use something called a fluorophore, which is a molecule that binds calcium, and when it binds it, it emits light. And this has been sort of the way that you study calcium since the 80s when they were first developed. But what's the problem with this? This is essentially a buffer. You are using a molecule that has, as they say, a KD, a binding coefficient for calcium. But if it's not as good as other molecules that bind calcium, then you're not going to detect, you're only going to detect what they say the free intracellular calcium concentration is.
If you were going to make an opposing argument, what would be the strongest opposing argument you would make if you were fighting yourself?
Well, that's like kind of how I go about it. Is first I talk about why studying calcium is difficult.
Right.
I mean, this is exactly. Thank you for asking, because this is exactly the paper that I'm writing. Is that the argument starts with, it's said that calcium is has an intracellular concentration of this, but actually it's much higher because of the indicators that we use. Very rarely are we actually talking about total calcium. And even when you get into that, that's very difficult, because then you're really just taking a gross amount. Because this is the thing, you just have to think, how are we actually figuring this stuff out? And, if you get a total calcium concentration, ultimately it's an average from a lump sum of a bunch of cells that you eviscerate, and then, anyway.
Yeah. I am like chuckling in my mind right now, imagining somebody listening to, say, one of our Nietzsche episodes or Foucault.
Yeah, you're damn right. We've done a little bit of digress. This is the
They really
stuff
fell off a cliff. Huh?
This is the stuff I should be talking about. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear about it. It's very important,
nobody wants
though.
to hear about any of my music theory nonsense either.
Hey, it's not nonsense.
It definitely is nonsense.
Yeah. Well, this has practical implications for atherosclerosis. and
Right.
dementia. Because this is what I'm saying is that precipitation is the natural end. And I think that's why a lot of things die, because you can't reverse the precipitation of calcium and phosphate.
So you're just one of those, one more person on the anti-aging thing.
Well, isn't that what medicine is, basically? You can't get away from it.
Right.
If you go into it, then you're sort of constantly fighting that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like anti-injury might not necessarily be anti-aging. Like setting a broken bone or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's all, I guess, it's all unnatural to me.
It's all unnatural to you.
Now, it is funny to think that, there is like a philosophy, or there, for much of medical history, there was the belief that, like, well, yeah, and it still is, that you're like helping nature along, and probably less is more, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but you can obviously take that to the extreme of just, well, then we shouldn't do anything.
Right.
But yeah, I kind of feel like any intervention is sort of getting, ultimately, the limit of every intervention is immortality.
Right.
I guess that's, I don't know.
Every intervention or invention?
Intervention.
I see. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. You're trying to live forever when you fix your bone. That's all you're trying to do. No,
Right.
but I don't know. You know what I mean? Is like, well, no, you don't know what I mean. I don't know. This is where I'm just probably glossing a little bit. And it sounds poetic.
I sort of can follow what you mean, maybe in a broad philosophical sense, but I think there's lots of types of intervention that are localized enough that they don't really fall into the trying to live forever thing.
Well, you're not very fun.
I'm not very fun.
No.
Right. That's true.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, so that's just one thing I was reading.
Okay. Good. I hope the next one is even more esoteric. And
yeah,
detailed.
it will be.
Good.
Well, I could be. I mean, well, I was. I mean, this was like a month ago, but reading some of Benjamin Rush's stuff. He was one of the founding fathers, but also a physician, and he wrote one of the first books on mental illness, actually, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, so he was talking about like what it was like to take care of, insane people, as we say. As they say. I would never say that.
Right.
And in, the 18th century, going into the 19th century, and trying to think a few things that struck out. One is, they used the water thing. I remember Foucault talking about this, but they would constantly dunk people in water and stuff, like to try to get them to like break out of it and stuff like that.
Snap out of it.
Yeah, basically. I mean, definitely they were doing things that, we would never be able to do, like just lying to patients. It advocates lying
they do that
to
a lot
them. Today?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe not as overtly as it was being prescribed by Rush. It was like, he was
kind of like Marcuse.
It was more.
I think about that a lot. Where remember when he was writing about how important it is to be deceitful?
No, I don't actually.
In was it One Dimensional Man? Was that what we read?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was talking about how the cause, the Marxist cause, was so important that it was actually a good thing to be deceitful to gain public support, so that people don't know that you are as extreme as you are, in order to get into a position of power.
I do think I remember this classic.
Because we
Marxist.
talked about how the problem is that is a strangely self-defeating argument, because then what is the point in reading any words that this person has to say? Because all of it's suspect.
Yeah. Well, and and everything's suspect. I mean,
right. But if somebody is openly saying,
no, it's true. It's true. But we should just assume that about all the politicians. I mean, that's
right.
But yeah, no, I don't remember that. But yeah, I mean, he's sort of advocating that in a sense of just like if somebody that's having like a psychotic break is talking to you about stuff. I can't remember the exact context, but it was essentially lying to them about like if you have things and stuff like that. I don't know.
Right.
But that it's still a question. I mean,
right.
How do
lying
you deal
to people for their own good?
No, but how do you deal with a psychotic person? You know, it really is like
I don't know.
It's very difficult.
Right.
Yeah. Especially if you have to get them to like take their insulin and stuff like that. And it's just like they don't want to take their insulin.
Yeah.
But I remember Foucault talking about how they would like dunk people in water and that would like kind of get them to snap out of it. So yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I think he was talking about all that in the 18th century. So yeah, there was that.
Nice.
Yeah. And then beyond all that, I've just been going, so I've been going down the rabbit hole because, I listened to Kurt Metzger's, Derp with Kerp, right? Which you can't get into because he's too ADD for you. But I understand that. But, he's got a lot of interesting, at least, he's a good aggregator of interesting things. And then you follow those threads. So, of course, he brings up Tracy Twineman a lot. Do you know about her?
Nope.
Yeah. She's a wild one, I'll just say that.
Tracy with an I or a Y?
I think it's with a Y. Twine. Oh, Tracy. I think it's...
Oh, Y.
Yeah. And then Twine. I think also with a
Y. Yeah. Twyman?
Yeah, Twine.
Oh, Twine. Totally different. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got to be careful because I think her husband is quite litigious.
Okay.
Not that I would know that.
What?
Which I understand because, I mean, basically she's become like kind of a cult figure online. So I think a lot of people like are harassing him and stuff. So, because she died. She, I think, committed suicide.
I have no idea who this is.
Yeah. You don't know? Antushka? What are you, not
I have no clue.
Listening to random podcasts about people?
Is it
you want
Tracy
to read?
R. Twyman?
I thought it was Twineman.
Twyman, American nonfiction author, specialized in esoteric history, the occult,
that's her.
Alternative history, conspiracy-related topics. I don't even know what this is. The Merovingians?
You know the Merovingians?
Nope. Knights Templar, Freemasonry, and related mysteries.
You don't remember, from Da Vinci Code?
I never read it or saw it.
Dude, I forgot you were homeschooled.
What does that have to do with anything?
Oh, it's got everything. Cultural acclamation.
Oh, nice. Okay.
No, I mean, they're like a French dynasty.
Okay.
I think Charlemagne may, or I don't know if Charlemagne's part of it. Nice. It might be after him. Who can keep track? But it's just a dynasty of French kings. And then they say that they came from Jesus, right? And then there's got the Knights Templar stuff. So yeah, she's, I don't know. I guess she like started a blog in the 90s and then it was popular. And then she started like, she started doing like seances, and talking to Baphomet and stuff as we do,
like chit chatting.
Yeah, basically. Right.
I hope it was a podcast. with the two of them?
I think they did try to record it, allegedly. I've just been listening to interviews of her because then she wrote a book about it called Clock Shavings, about the talk
funny.
with Baphomet. And then, so now it adds all this like stuff because then she committed suicide or she died. I don't know. She's not alive anymore in 2019. Yeah. And so now, that's fueled all sorts of stuff. Because I've been going down this rabbit hole because, it's not just him. Like a lot of people bring her up in these like esoteric circles. And I was just like, okay, so let me see what's at the root of this, because this is kind of why I was asking at the end of last podcast, like about supernatural stuff.
Yeah. That was a good question. I enjoyed that question.
And it's like I almost wish that I had some sort of supernatural occurrence, because I really just, this is what makes it difficult for me to go down any of these lanes. Actually, it's like it's just, I think they're all crazy. It
is weird to go from calcium to this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But, it's because I'm trying to get that. I'm an alchemist at the end of the day.
I think that's true. And I think that's why, if you remember on our alchemy episode, you seemed kind of offended that I thought the alchemists were like shysters and dumbasses.
Oh, I was offended?
Well, I don't know if you were actually offended, but it was kind of there's some tension there.
Yeah, well,
I don't think you liked my read on them.
There's a lot of tension between me and you. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yes, probably. I was very offended.
You
How
took
dare
it personally. You thought, ultimately, I'm commenting about you.
These are my brothers.
Right? It was like,
well. No, I mean, yes, obviously this is a weird thing.
Yes, they are your brothers.
I'm just bored.
We all know.
I think that's the problem. I think I want there to be something more to reality. So I'm like, can there be demons, please? So let me see. This lady says she's talking to demons. Let's see what she says. Right. But I mean, I'll be honest. She just sounds crazy to me. I'm sorry. And maybe that's controversial. And then it's like...
Well, can it all be true?
It can all be true,
it is a lunatic, right?
Yes. But, she's saying all these things like, and I know when none of us had this... She knows that the information is true, that they're talking to something. Her rationale is because, like, it was telling them all these things, And then it was saying how they would misspell things a lot, though, and it, like
Baphomet,
or whatever. They also Cain.
Baphomet is bad at spelling.
They're also talking to Cain too, but it's just like.
I guess they probably are old enough that their existence predates dictionaries, so spelling's kind of.
Well, it was in like the 2000s, of course. You're talking about Baphomet and Cain, yeah. You're right.
Yeah. I actually bring this up in the music history course that I teach, that I'm currently teaching.
Yeah.
Is that there was a time not too long ago where spelling was not standardized. And it's funny because we think of it as a static thing now. But pre-dictionaries, you read manuscripts from different areas of the same country where they're speaking the same language and spellings are totally different.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, no, it's true. But so Baphomet's also bad.
So we got to cut them a break is what I'm saying.
Sorry. Well, and my point is like, okay, so they misspell things and also like apparently some of it's in French. And I'm like, well, so at what point are you just making it up too? You know what I mean? It's like if they're misspelling a bunch of stuff, then that means that you have to do all this inference,
right?
And anyway, and then also like, you do it with different people. How do you know that one of these people doesn't know these things? Like the things that it's telling them. Right. I don't know. I'm skeptical, but hey, I've never used a Ouija board. I will admit that. But yeah. So anyway, so they're doing that, and and then okay. So I also went down because I wanted to also learn a little bit more about like what was she like right before she died, because I think the public sort of message is that she committed suicide.
Okay, can we pause and then circle back to this?
Yes.
Because why do we care about her?
We care about her because she is a cult phenom.
Phenom. Like Ayn Rand.
Not really that
Okay.
big, though. Because a lot of people she's becoming, I would say, more and more popular. I don't know if anybody else should care about her. In the, I guess you could say, esoteric occult sort of
Well,
sphere.
I guess it's like
on
what Kurt Metzger's talking about her. What captured him? What captured you?
Oh, because she wrote this book about Baphomet and then she translated this treatise on Baphomet.
Because it sounds very humorous to me, the idea that Baphomet communicates with misspellings and switches languages, like he's a little confused.
No, but you're right. Why do we care? We probably don't care. I don't know. It's like, I don't really know why I care about this.
Well, I guess what I mean is there's lots of crazy people who say lots of crazy things.
Yeah, it's because
But sometimes there's like something interesting, a glimmer of interest.
All of this stuff, all of this whole sphere is at this idea that, there's an order of people that are controlling things that we don't know. I mean, that's like the underpin of all the conspiracies sort of narratives. That's why anybody cares about any of them, is because it's like, well, society feels weird. Maybe there's more to this, and maybe there's some puppet master. So then you can go around, you can go down a variety of different routes for that, right? And one of them is this like Da Vinci Code sort of route, where it's like the Templars, right? The Knights Templar, or you go to the Freemasons, Illuminati, Rosicrucians, and then you get to the Templars, and then before that you get, to Jesus, right? So that's why, and so she wrote a lot about this, and specifically the Knights Templar, and she was like one of the first, at least in the modern times, to really talk about the connection between Baphomet and the Knights Templars, because it's thought,
and she's communicating with them,
and she's communicating with Baphomet. Yes,
which is interesting.
Allegedly,
because most of us don't have his number.
I've never talked to him in my life.
Right.
And that was like why they. I don't know what that sound was that I made, but that was why the Templars. That was what the Pope and the King of France sort of used as the reason to kill the Templars on Friday the 13th, back in the 14th century or whatever. It was that they were praising this god, this goat's head,
right,
and then having
who eats children,
sodomy and stuff like that. Yes, and that too.
Right.
Yeah. So she is just this sort of fringe writer who writes about this stuff that then now I think has become more popular because, honestly, I think because she died. She was like popular before, but then now there's this like added like
died
spookiness. Young, yeah, she was probably like 40, but I like to think of that as young.
Well,
the closer I get to it.
It's a little unusual to just drop dead at 40.
No, it's true. And also it's the fact that she was like so public about doing these seances. And that's what then people are like, well, was she killed by Baphomet or whatever? I don't know. And all I'll say is that she did start doing a podcast towards the end of her life. And then you can go and listen to some of it. And like one of the last recordings that she did does sound like just like a paranoid schizophrenic, I'll be honest. It's like she's just talking about how like her internet is being changed by some hacking group. And then like how can anybody know?
All the time.
You do? Well, then, you're probably paranoid schizophrenic as well. I don't want to.
I've actually gotten a little bit into the weird thing where you don't even talk about something, you think it, and then it's on your phone.
Well, that I've had too. That's weird. You've had that?
Yeah, I have. And then other people tell me I'm crazy, and it's like, no. It's like I really haven't talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I always think I must have said or indicated something.
Well, said or indicated something. But yeah, I know. But to me, that's like, that shows that your phone is listening to you on a pretty intense level.
Yes.
If it's from other things you've said, it's intuiting, deep things you're thinking about or worrying about or whatever. It's like,
yeah, I agree.
It's like you've had like stomach pains and bad digestion, and then it starts giving you things about pancreatic cancer. You haven't talked to anybody about it.
Yeah, I agree. It's
like, oh,
up.
am I dying? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I always
How
think
to know
that,
if you're in stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
whenever I get like health ads, I'm always like, what do they know?
Yeah, right.
What do they know?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So paranoid schizophrenic. They're changing the internet just for her.
Yeah, I mean,
now I think they are kind of changing the internet individually for all of us, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. Is like 2019. It's even crazier though, just because like, yeah. I mean, maybe they had capabilities to do that, but like, you know, it's the idea that like you look at a newspaper and they're like changing the newspaper for you so that you're seeing different stories and stuff like that. Yep. It sounded like, yeah, just somebody with or paranoid delusions, basically. Right. So I sort of buy that, you know, she just had a mental health crisis, basically, which is very sad. Yeah, so part of the reason I wanted to talk about it is because, you know, again, just the stuff that I listen to, I hear this woman come up more and more, and maybe I just wanted to get a voice out there, a voice of reason, Antushka, for the people, to be like, hey, yeah, she had a lot of interesting things to say. She's got a lot of research that she did, and but there's some pretty weird stuff with her. I think we should take it all with a grain of salt.
Sure,
or even two.
Right. To me, the Baphomet stuff sounds fun, though. I kind of want to read. Yeah. I like this idea that he's bad at spelling. I don't know why.
By the way, yeah,
it's charming.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Or that
like makes
like
it cute.
Trying to speak in English but can't. You know? Oh, Baphomet.
Look, not yet good at English.
Yeah, you'll get there. Give it another 900 years.
It's good.
Yeah, it's very endearing. That's exactly why I listen to this stuff, because it is like, I'm like, I don't know if I believe any of this, but you know, it's an interesting story. Yeah. But all the stories do come out. You know, I'm always just like with all this stuff, and there's me saying like again. I'm always as if. No.
There we go.
That doesn't work. I'm always such that, why do I, what is anybody's motive in any of this, I guess? I don't know.
Any of what?
You know, there's this whole idea of puppet masters and whatnot, and I guess motive is to control the world or whatever like that. But I don't know. I guess I'm just like, I feel like people get bored after a while. I don't know. You get bored ruling the world.
Right.
I don't know. It just, I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
Are you expressing skepticism toward the shadow society of puppet masters? Or are you accepting it?
It's like, it always comes back to, you know, these people were imprisoned here for eternity or something like that, and then they need to get back because they want, like, to live. Like, this is the whole devil thing, right? And this is what Baphomet supposedly, right? A devil. So whether it's the devil themselves or, in this case, Baphomet, which is sort of the big story that she has woven, is that Baphomet and like Cain are stuck in some part underneath our realm, right? And then they need to like talk with us so that they can come back and rule it. But it's like, what does ruling a realm mean? You know, why is that so good?
Right.
I don't know. Does that make any sense?
It does. It feels far enough beyond what in my mind is even knowable that it's hard for me to imagine taking it seriously.
Well, and this is why I'm like, this is all obviously all just people are making shit up, Because,
Right, it's a story.
Right, because it's like, this sounds like just what a human would say is like, okay, so we need a narrative here. And what's a
Right.
good narrative is that you have a bad guy that's trapped and trying to get out.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Right.
and he just wants to get out and just, be really bad everywhere. And also, like, why is that fun too?
Why is it fun?
Where's the pleasure in just torturing people for eternity?
I don't know. To me, I actually think that probably there's a way of interpreting it that's more kind of Jordan Peterson-y, where you could say that there's probably some kind of, there's something important to that narrative for people.
Well, yeah.
And it doesn't really matter whether or not Baphomet is truly trapped and trying to escape. The idea that there is some force whose sole purpose is human torment that could be released or something like that.
Well, I think that's exactly it. Yeah, it's supposed to be. I mean, it's supposed to keep us on good behavior, right? The fear of that.
Right.
Actually,
and you could. It's all just, you can make the hammer nail thing. You can turn anything into a nail if you're feeling like a hammer, and you could apply this in a metaphorical sense to the rise of mass surveillance today.
Yeah.
And that seems to be, like every week, quadrupling in power randomly out of nowhere. So, yeah.
Well, I will say another interesting thing was, so
You're really...
I heard, have you heard of the Gnostic informant? He's like another one of these guys.
Maybe. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's always talking to Jason Giorgiani and the Break the Rules guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, I think he was talking to Kurt. He actually articulated exactly the sort of theory of Adam and Eve that I think we've talked about on here.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me wondering, maybe he's listening to the podcast. No.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I think this is like I think this is an obvious interpretation.
Right.
And I don't know where it originates, but I'm sure it's an old interpretation of that. The Garden of Eden is like consciousness, basically. It's an allegory for consciousness,
right.
Humans getting consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And it's funny, Kurt kind of just said what you say. You're like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. Move on. Yeah. Moving on. Nobody cares about consciousness.
I mean, I think I have talked a lot about consciousness.
You have.
I don't think I always just brush it off.
You brush it off. You and Kurt.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I forget. Do you like that idea?
Yeah, I think I just don't tend to use the term consciousness. But yeah, I think the idea as some kind of
self-awareness,
some kind of story about humans coming into their own as humans, human development. Even I've even thought of it as, the life cycle of a single human, a metaphor for that. Like loss of innocence, moving out of the garden where everything is taken care of into a place where you have to take care of yourself. As a child, you don't have the knowledge of good and evil.
Right.
You just live in, this baby world.
Right. Before
and
consciousness.
For children, that loss of innocence and the development of the knowledge of good and evil is kind of hurtful to a parent in a way, because it's like the pain of your child growing up and the pain of your child leaving the nest, so to speak. And so it's not a one-for-one mapping, but I do think that story, the story of Adam and Eve, has narrative power in a variety of ways for the human experience.
Yes. Yes, and of course I'll just say because it's about consciousness.
Sure.
That's why. And that's why it's got so many different interpretive windows, so to speak. Because, I mean, even what you're saying with, child versus adult, I mean, what's the difference between a child and adult in many sense? It's consciousness, I would say.
Do you think the knowledge of good and evil is tantamount to consciousness? Would you say those two things are equal?
Yes. I don't think they're equal, but I think consciousness begets it.
Right. Can you be conscious without that? Because thing that you've said in the past, which has stuck with, so the reason I'm asking is because a conversation we had a long time ago was I asked you if you thought that there was a difference between a conscience, like Jiminy Cricket, and consciousness. And at the time you said, no, you think they're the same thing. When the conscience, Jiminy Cricket, is your knowledge of good and evil. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm wondering if you think they're the same thing. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just interested.
Well, by the same thing, again, I think really what I should have said is that consciousness is this property and good and evil comes out of that property. Jiminy Cricket comes out of that. You have to be aware of yourself. You have to have a perspective, basically, before you can, I just think that good and evil is a function of something with a perspective.
Right, yeah. C.S. Lewis, yes.
Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Damn it.
What? Why? Why do you not like that? We read it.
I'm just a ripoff.
He didn't say it quite like that, but yeah.
Yeah. That's because he's not quite as poetic as me.
Well, you need a basis. He's not quite as poetic. That's a funny statement.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you mean you need a basis?
Well, you need a basis of comparison in order to have a knowledge of good and evil.
And a basis of comparison you need.
Comparison is God, the source of consciousness.
Or perspective, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever. Yeah.
I mean, because we've talked about this too. I mean,
He'd probably fight you on trying to sterilize the language. But I think that you and he kind of would see eye to eye somewhere.
C.S. Lewis?
Yeah.
I would fight him on many. I'd fight him just generally.
Why?
I'd love to just fight T.S. Lewis just to say I did.
I beat C.S. Lewis. No, not in a debate.
No,
in a fist fight.
I beat him, like, literally.
What a silly
Find the witch in the wardrobe, you son of a bitch. Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah.
This is a stupid podcast.
This is
a really dumb podcast.
Yeah, this is pretty dumb. Well, I think I was going to say something else too. Can you believe that?
Or you have another topic.
I think I did.
Okay, and it wasn't Lion, the Witch, in the Wardrobe.
No, it wasn't having to do with that. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's something fishy going on with Josephus, though. I'll tell you that much. I've been thinking more about that stuff.
Oh, I like this one.
Yeah.
At least I know a little bit about this one. Okay. Wait, what do you mean there's something fishy going on about Josephus?
I just think him and Vespasian, they were up to something. I don't know what.
You're getting to the bottom of it.
Maybe. It's just, it just still seems too good that after this big struggle for power, and then also in Rome, you had Nero and then three other Roman emperors, I think before Vespasian ultimately settled everything down. And then, you had the first Jewish war, maybe the second, I can't remember. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, just Josephus is buddy with the guy who was attacking them. Right. It doesn't make any sense. And then he comes out with the first written history of the Jews. And then he also has a bunch of things that he gets wrong, mm-hmm. and then he republishes.
Under a different name.
Yeah. So how do we know it's not all wrong? Maybe he got everything wrong.
Well, at least some of it coincides with the Bible, and so there's at least corroborating record
in
there.
Some, but not like complete, right? I mean, we don't have complete. Do we? Well,
what do you mean?
I don't know. I guess I don't know how.
I think we have pre-Josephus records
we have
of
complete,
all of the Old Testament books. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
I guess we even have pre-Josephus record of some of the New Testament, but not much. The epistles, those are older than him.
Yeah, I always hated those.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, and that's kind of another interesting thing about the Twineman stuff is that they're getting into this whole thing about Mithra, and that Mithraism, which is this like religion from Iran. And they're talking about all these sort of similarities between Mithra and that it could be Baphomet and Lucifer, right, and stuff like that.
It's always that. That's one I hear a lot.
That Lucifer is Baphomet.
Lucifer is Baphomet. Vishnu is Lucifer. Krishna's Lucifer. They're all Lucifer.
Well,
they're all just different versions of Lucifer.
Well, which makes sense if you think of Lucifer, right, as Satan's the adversary, and it's just anything against...
Right, but the problem is the way people talk today, they're not meaning anything that general. They're being specific.
I do kind of feel like, though, it is like with all of this stuff, there is kind of a choice of, do you feel like do what thou will or do what thou will? Or do what do what you will versus do what God wills, basically.
Right.
Yeah. So you can either think that you are God or that there is a God. So
right. Yeah, we like binaries. We like intense binaries.
I think that that's what there is, man. I mean, what's the other option? I mean, everything else is just a continuum.
What about wave? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you make a wave binary by saying this is positive and the negative.
You're damn right.
We binarize everything.
It's called Hegel, you Philistine. Yeah, right. It's called thesis and antithesis.
Right, exactly. 1, -1.
But I don't know. I mean, don't you think? I don't know. What else? What other option is there?
I don't know. Well, there's the Trinity, 3, right? Perfection.
Yeah, but you see what I'm getting at.
And the Trinity could be seen as like thesis, antithesis, synthesis.
No, but you're being flippant or whatever. I'm asking you a genuine question. I'm asking you a genuine question. I mean,
right. What else is there besides binary?
Besides this binary of you're either subservient to something or you are the master. It's the Nietzsche, like you are God, like, the will to power, or Crowley's like do what thou will, or whatever his thing is. It's,
right.
Your limit is your power, basically.
Right.
And you are a God, the Prometheus.
Right.
That's the satanic sort of perspective,
well,
I think, versus the Christian,
that,
which is...
you can be at 0.75 on the wave. You don't have to be at either pole. You can serve yourself for some things. You can serve one God for some things. You can serve another God for other things. You could be fractured.
You're a polytheist now.
Yeah, right.
Well, but this begs the question.
Well, that's actually what Jordan Peterson, isn't that what he was arguing on that Jubilee debate?
I don't know.
That most people are polytheists because their attention is fractured. Because they worship a whole variety of things.
Yeah. I mean, that is the answer, but to what I was asking is like, what other option is there? But even if you're at, 0.25 and 0.75 or whatever of like, I think there's 75% of my allegiance goes to God and 25% to me or whatever is what you're saying. There's still a dominant there. It's like ultimately
you could be 50-50, right?
I don't think so.
It's not a possible position.
I mean, now we could ask, is there anything that's truly equivalent?
Well, I'm thinking about a wave, right? Is 0 a possible position?
Is perfect symmetry a possible position? Because to be 50-50, well, to be 50-50, you need to have exactly the same.
Yeah, the same view up as down.
Yes, that's my point.
Is it possible? That's what I'm asking. I don't know.
I say no.
In theory, sure.
No.
I don't see why not.
This is now very stupid. Okay.
But it's actually my answer to your question.
Yeah, your answer is that you can take on a variety of different proportions.
I don't think it has to be total in one direction or another.
But it's still two things.
Could be 3. If it's any God versus you, then sure. But if it's this God and that God and that God and that God, and that guy and that dog.
I mean, yes, but ultimately,
and actually, there's the kind of Misesian idea, like Mises, where it is only you in any case.
You bastard.
There is only one position, which I think is also an interesting idea. Not that there's a multiplicity, but there is only serving you.
Now we're getting back to,
you can do nothing other than serve you.
And this is my point. This is why I keep saying I think it ultimately comes back to one of these two perspectives.
So there are no waves even. It's just a stamp.
It's Schrodinger's cat. You're dead or you're alive,
yeah.
Or you're both at the same time. Right. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like you understand what I'm saying, but
I do.
Because I think your answers aren't quite getting at what I'm.
Oh, well, then maybe I don't.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. I think this is a stupid conversation at this point. Like, I don't know why I care about this.
Okay, so I will say that for me, if somebody says there is only, my knee jerk is to go, wait a minute, that seems unlikely.
Yeah, but I don't know. I question that knee jerk because I really feel like it does.
No, it is definitely my knee jerk.
Yeah, no, I know that. Which is why I think you're so confused. You keep going around in circles.
Right.
I'm just joking. Because that's how we rationalize everything. And you could say, yes, that's the point, is that we rationalize things like this. But it's clearly an important way that our minds understand reality is by breaking them down into rudiments. And yeah, basically most rudiments do come out to a dichotomy. A lot come out to a singular thing, but yeah.
Or 3. I would say 1, 2, and 3 are all important sort of rudimentary ideas.
Yeah.
I think that one musical moment is a valid thing. I think a binary is a valid thing. I think a 3 is a valid thing. And if we talked about, I actually think 4 is valid as well.
This is getting back to that rhythm conversation we had.
That's what I mean. I mean in terms of rhythm, yes.
Yeah.
which I also think is related to waves. It's all different ways of conceptualizing the same idea.
Mm-hmm.
The one idea.
The one idea.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was good. I think this was the best one
I
we've
don't
done.
think it was super. Actually, this was the best part of the conversation as far as I'm concerned, because it was the only part that I feel like I had anything I could add to.
You added.
And as soon as I start adding, you say it's stupid.
Yes. Thank you. That's what I do.
Yeah. Good.
But if it's any consolation, I'm stupid.
What?
So,
You're not stupid.
I am.
That's
Very much
stupid.
so. Well,
Let's keep going with the stupid thing. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, all right. We probably won't do this for a while.
Okay.
That's okay. All right.
I feel like if we do it next time, we should do it with some kind of structure. No?
I hate structure.
I hate structure.
Yeah, no, you're right. But who has the time?
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right.
Or we just start doing
Oh, yeah.
reaction videos.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
See
Bye.
ya.